Staunton. Houts made a run in from right to left. Dunlop's come a long way. It's Whelan. Goal is given. Ronnie Whelan is the scorer. And that in itself is a piece of history. It's the first goal that the Republic of Ireland have ever scored against Northern Ireland. Whelan, that's beautifully executed, the pass to Sheedy. Cascarino! A classic header. It always looked a likely route. And the route is to the World Cup finals. Morris, Andy Townsend, Sheedy, Staunton away to the left, but Sheedy looked to Houghton. There's a shot on, there's a goal on, it's 3. It's a rampaging performance now from the Republic of Ireland.
When Julio Salinas gave Spain the lead against Hungary in Budapest, it seemed the Republic's place in the finals would be guaranteed. Defeat for Hungary would have left them too far adrift. Nothing to upset the form book as Spain took control with a second goal. Real Madrid's Michel guiding the ball in as Spain sought to tie up their own qualification. But if Jack Charlton was following the match on a radio somewhere, he'd soon have been thumping it in disbelief as Hungary fought back. First, Attila Pinter raising their hopes before half-time. And then late on, it was again Attila the Hungarian with the equaliser that means the Irish still need to avoid defeat in Malta to be absolutely certain of qualifying. Spain are now definitely through.
Yugoslavia had already qualified and then took 2 more group points from Norway, the one team which can stop Scotland, even though the Yugoslavs had Bazdarovic sent off after only 13 minutes. Norwegian striker Jakobsen conceding a penalty for the second international in a row, a trip on Baljic. Hadzibegic beat Tottenham's Erik Torstvedt right on half-time.
In Group 1, the early goal from Aston Villa's Kent Nielsen set the tone for an exhilarating Danish performance that completely overwhelmed the previously unbeaten Romanians. This a match from which the Danes were desperate to collect both points to maintain their hopes of winning the group. Nowadays, opposing teams have not one Laudrup to contend with, but 2. If this goal by 20-year-old Brian is anything to go by, you can understand why many observers believe that Laudrup the younger may well surpass the achievements of his older brother Michael. A brilliant strike by Brian Laudrup, Denmark's record export, now playing his club football with Bayer Erdingen in Germany. Only rarely did Romania threaten a recovery, and Denmark's surge to the top of the group was concluded by a 3rd goal, courtesy of the PSV Eindhoven combination of Jan Heinze and scorer Flemming Poulsen. But Sepp Piontek's team aren't definitely through yet. Romania can still overhaul them by winning the return.
And in Group 7, Belgium still need 1 point to be absolutely sure of their place in Italy after a 2-2 draw in Switzerland. Knoop sending Belgium a goal down after 51 minutes. All the goals in this 2-2 draw came in a 20-minute spell in the second half. Marc de Gruyter equalised for Belgium. Switzerland's own hopes long gone, so with little to lose, they put Belgium under pressure again. Turk Yilmaz beating Prudhomme, and Belgium 2-1 down. Czechoslovakia and Portugal disputing second place in this group. Belgium needed an own goal by Alain Geiger to earn their draw here. Their last match, a certain 2 points at home to Luxembourg.
So the qualifiers have swelled to 8. This week's editions are England, Spain, and one of the outsiders from the Central American group, Costa Rica. Bobby Robson, by the way, has already started his homework. Today he's watching Italy against Brazil in Bologna, a game you can see on ITV tonight, so check the TV times for details.
That was a pretty logo, wasn't it? That little World Cup.
We should be seeing that, Jim. 34 weeks to the World Cup, so we'll see as we keep in touch with all the happenings in the World Cup.
We'll be bored stiff with it soon then. Yeah.
Now, listen, what about the goal that Belgium scored there? I thought that was outstanding and worth another look at.
Superb goal. It was a goal of sheer artistry, wasn't it? So many players touched it in so short a space. It just went backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Lovely taken goal.
Beautiful. But not a goal that Harry Bassett would maybe admire, would he?
Maybe not, but we'll find there's the old Belgian lace knickers borrowed from the missus there. There you are. Lovely. Well, pretty, aren't they? Yes.
Well, that's it for part one. After the break, we'll be revealing the Barclays Young Eagle of the Month. We've a top game from Spain, and we'll look at the continuing revival at Bramall Lane. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back. Now, if you're a sports fan in Sheffield at the moment, the future looks bright with so many good things happening. Now, that might seem an odd thing to say when you look at the bottom of the First Division table and see Sheffield Wednesday firmly entrenched there. But at the top of the second, Sheffield United lead the charge, just one of the positive aspects of the city right now. Martin Tyler reports.
Sheffield is certainly a place to be for sports lovers. A major new development in the Don Valley will cite the 1991 World Student Games, the biggest international multi-sport extravaganza outside the Olympics. The Sheffield Eagles are in Rugby League's First Division for the first time, and last Sunday shocked the new world champions Widnes. Though the clouds are gathering over Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday at least won their last match 8-0 to offer some hope of improvement. And at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United are celebrating their centenary year, promoted already from the third division, sitting proudly now on top of the second. Behind this revival, Dave Bassett, who's brought to South Yorkshire the same perky style of management which was so successful in South London with Wimbledon. United trying to recapture their first division past.
A long raking through one for Woodward, first time! Oh, he's got a goal! If he didn't, a great one, and it is! Hockey. Oh, that's a good ball to Salmons. Salmons has Hammond with him. He's going outside him, across the goal. He's going to touch it for number 7. There it is. I think that's the 4th for Woodward. It is indeed.
Well, Wimbledon didn't have the tradition of a club like this, and obviously the club did have great players and stars, but they were in the past, and you can't live in the past. The past don't pay your wages, it doesn't bring the fans in. It's really what success we do. We bring in ourselves. We're building new heroes, Deans and Agana. We want the fans, perhaps in 10 years' time, to be talking about those as well.
The goals of Brian Dean and Tony Agana took Sheffield United to promotion, and their combination on the opening day of this season at West Bromwich Albion, Agana scoring from Dean's header, gave an early indication of the side's ability to do more than survive in the second division. And at Bramall Lane, they've even tailored the pitch to suit the requirements of Tony Agana.
Well, in actual fact, Tony Agana sort of regards himself as a bit of a Greavsie, but not as good in the air. And he said, well, I only score goals, I'm not much good outside. Can we get the pitch shortened? So, you know, he's one of our stars, so we're obliged.
And it is a little bit shorter, is it?
Well, in actual fact, last year, I did ask the groundsman to shorten it because it was 117 by 75, which was too big. And he obviously didn't think I was going to be here too long, so he didn't bother to shorten it. But this year we did alter it, and we've reduced it to 113 by 73. And the reason I did this was because looking around a lot of the other teams, our pitch was a lot bigger, and I felt that we ought to sort of have a pitch that was in average with most of the teams that we're likely to play.
Sheffield United's latest success came at Molineux last Saturday. Wilfer Ostrom on loan from Sheffield Wednesday, a neighbourly act by Ron Atkinson, equalising against Wolves. 5 minutes after half-time, the winner came from John Gannon. Gannon, one of 3 ex-Wimbledon players recruited by Bassett. The Wimbledon connection extends to physiotherapist Derek French and the coach, Jeff Taylor.
Saturday, do you reckon, since Gal's been injured,
I think it's important with your staff that you work with people you know and trust and you can rely on, and that's why I brought Jeff Taylor and Derek French with me. The fact that Simon Tracy and John Gannon followed me was they became available at Wimbledon within the price range we could afford, and Mark Morris came via Watford. Watford all of a sudden decided to release him, and I knew Mark could do a good job. So it wasn't a conscious factor to go and get Wimbledon players, because it's easy to say we go and get them to play the Wimbledon way. When Simon Tracy and John Gannon were at Wimbledon, they were in the youth team, so they didn't really know what we was doing in the first team.
So it's not Wimbledon Mark II at Sheffield United?
Not really. It's easy to tie us with that, but it doesn't really worry me. You know, what's wrong with Wimbledon? You know, there's nothing wrong with Wimbledon. They've won the FA Cup and they're a credit to the First Division. I mean, what's wrong with Jack Charlton and Era? Are they wrong? You know, I mean, they've got players playing there, and Jack's regarded as a top manager, so if it's right for him to play there. They've not done bad in the European Championships. They've got to the World Cup finals, so who's to say who's right and who's wrong? Football's a great game. We've all got our opinions. The only problem is nobody likes the long ball.
Harry, I like the long ball. Straight down the eye, diddle, son, and have a chase and knock it in the back of the net. That's the game. That's the game.
Actually, he did a terrific job. I mean, his priority is getting them back into the First Division.
Yeah.
How he does it, I suppose, he's not really interested.
Well, he had a right result getting the groundsman to shorten the pitch as well.
Yeah. And a good idea, wasn't it?
Good idea.
Smashing idea. Right, next week, Hibs and Dundee United go into action again as the only survivors of the British assault in Europe, and we wish them both the best of luck. John Toshak is another Briton with high hopes as his Real Madrid team take on European champions AC Milan. Now, last Saturday, they came unstuck against Johan Cruyff's Barcelona.